Hello student. In today's session, we have to start chapter number 2, mathematical methods from the syllabus of 11th standard. So let's see. So here in first part, we have to learn scalars. Second part, we have to learn vectors. So basically physical quantities are classified under two categories, scalars and vectors, or scalar quantity and vector quantity. This classification is based on direction. It is based on direction. Now let's see what is scalar, what is vector. In previous standard, in 9th standard and 10th standard, you already learned what is scalar, what is vector. In this chapter, we have to learn in more detail what is scalar, what is vector, how we can add vectors, how we can add scalars, how we can multiply vectors, etc. So we have to learn vector algebra in single line in this chapter. So in this chapter, we have to learn vector addition, subtraction, multiplication. As these three topics are over, this chapter is. Now let me start this chapter. First thing, what is scalar? A physical quantity which has a magnitude but no direction. Which has a magnitude but no direction is called scalars or scalar quantity. Now here, example for scalar quantities are mass, length, temperature, time, density, work, specific heat, then speed, etc. Distance. Many example we can write. So these are the examples of scalars. Scalar may be positive or negative. So basically, scalar can be added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided according to the rules of ordinary algebra. In previous standard, you already learned how to add, how to subtract, how to multiply, how to divide, so that you can apply to the scalar quantities. So if you want to add scalar, you can add it directly by using algebra, an ordinary algebra that you know. Now after this scalar, what is vector? Vector means physical quantity which has both. It has a magnitude as well as it has a direction, is called vector. Example for vector is velocity, acceleration, displacement, force, momentum, torque, etc. So displacement. So in the scalar quantity we are written distance, here displacement. What is the difference between distance and displacement? So when we are considering a particle A or a person from A point walk to point B, in a straight away it is a 5 kilometer. Then it travels a distance 5 kilometers. But here, instead of going straight away, a person goes to this direction 2 kilometer, then turn with 90 degree, travel 5 kilometer, turn with again 90 degree, travel again 2 kilometer. Then he moved like this. Then distance here is 2 plus 5 plus 2, 9 kilometers. And displacement is a 5 kilometer. Displacement means a shortest path between initial and final position is a displacement. So displacement 5 kilometer and distance is 9. Similar manner in the scalar we are written mass. So here in vector we can write weight. So what is the difference between mass and weight? Mass means content in a body. A pen made from n number of particles. Then this particles is a content in a body. So that content in a body is a mass. Weight means a force on that body due to Earth's gravity is the weight. So weight is always in downward direction. So weight has a magnitude and direction. Then after that, you remember here, vector cannot be added. So this is very important. Cannot be added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided according to the simple rules. We cannot apply the simple or ordinary rules of algebra to add, subtract vector. So we have to learn separate rules for vector algebra. So in this chapter, I told you we have to learn addition, subtraction, and division. As as these three things are over, chapter is over. Now here, vectors can be added, subtracted, multiplied by rules of vector algebra. A vector cannot be divided by another vector. So you remember here. So why we are learning only addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and why not division? The reason is vector cannot be divided by another vector. Now after that, representation of vectors, very important. How we can represent vector? So vector can be represented by corresponding letter with arrow on its head. So we can write it like this. So like this, arrow on its head, or corresponding bold face type letter. So you can see here. So arrow on head, or you can see a bold letter. So this is a bold F, bold face type letter. Now here, so this arrow on head is the simplest way to represent vector. So we are representing vector by this. Or you can write here like this way. So F bar. So every time when we are writing not possible to put arrow, so we can write a bar on its top. So it means it is a vector. Now here, for example, magnitude of velocity vector is represented by, you can see bold letter V or V bar, V and arrow on its top. So question may be asked in examination, distinguish between scalars and vectors. So this is a distinguish. So we already covered what is scalars, what is vectors. You can see this point number 1. Scalar possess magnitude only. Here magnitude and direction. Second one, obey laws of algebra. So here their vectors are not obeying laws of algebra. So we have to learn separate laws. So means we have to learn vector algebra to add, to multiply vectors or to subtract vectors. Third point is scalar changes when only magnitude changes, but vector changes either. This is very important. Either magnitude or direction changes. Means if direction change, then also you remember vector changes. So you remember one thing here, when we are talking about circular motion. So one object is moving in a circular motion, then continuously the object is changing its direction. So here in circular motion, any vector, whatever the vector we are talking, it always changes. When we are talking about velocity, at this point this is the direction of velocity, at this point this is direction. So in circular motion, direction changes continuously. So we can say that vector changes continuously. So the vector which is coming along this path of the particle changes. So here, example for scalar: speed, distance, mass, velocity, displacement, weight are the vectors. So you can see this is a distinguish. You remember it very well. Now we go further and we learn types of the vector. The first type is unit vector. So vector with unit magnitude. Unit vector means vector with unit magnitude is called as unit vector. Basically, if I consider, so this is that I draw here. So this is vector A bar, or I can write it here, A bar. So this is vector A bar. And in the direction of A bar, a unit vector A cap is there, or capital A cap or small a cap. I can use small, capital, anyhow you can. A cap. So cap on top means we are representing unit vector by cap on its top. Then we can write the unit vector is equal, you can see this formula, vector divided by its magnitude. We are written A bar between two lines, it means that it's the magnitude of that vector. Or I can write like this way also. A cap is equal to vector A bar divided by A. So we are not written bar on its top. It means that it is a magnitude. So unit vector is given by formula vector divided by its magnitude is a unit vector. Unit vector has no dimension, no unit. It is used to specify a direction only. Unit vector along x, y, and z axis denoted by, you can see here, you remember this is very important. Unit vector in the direction of x is I cap. So you can see I and cap on its top, I cap. Unit vector in the direction of y is j cap. So j and cap on its top is a unit vector in the direction of y. Unit vector in the direction of z is k cap. It is the unit vector in the direction of z axis. So here I cap, j cap, k cap, these are the unit vector in the direction of x, y, and z axis respectively. You remember this very well. Unit vector means vector with unit magnitude. Unit means what? 1. Unit means 1, whose magnitude is 1. Or we can write here magnitude of I cap is equal to magnitude of j cap is equal to magnitude of k cap is equal to 1. So whose value is 1? Whose value is 1. Magnitude of unit vector is 1, that you remember. Now after this unit vector, next type of the vector is zero vector. It is also called as null vector. So what is null vector or zero vector? So basically vector with zero magnitude, whose value is 0, whose magnitude is 0, that vector is called as zero vector or null vector. Since initial and final position coincide, displacement is 0. If final and initial position coincide, then we can say that displacement is 0 or displacement is null. So just we discuss here, if person start at A, move to this direction, again goes to this, and again coming to the A position, then how much is the displacement? Displacement is 0. Displacement is a zero vector because displacement is a vector quantity. Now after that, next type of the vector is equal vector. So vector depends on magnitude and direction, that you have to remember. So equal vector means a vector with same magnitude, vector with same magnitude and direction. Magnitude and direction both must be same. Then only these two vectors are called as equal vectors. If I write here, this is A bar and A bar is 5 centimeter. I write second vector B bar. It is also 5 centimeter in the same direction. So both having a direction same and magnitude 5 centimeter, 5 centimeter. So we can write A bar is equal to B bar. So because they are equal vectors. Now next type of vector is negative vector. Now what is negative vector? So negative vector means vector having same magnitude. See here. Same magnitude but opposite in directions. They are called as negative vector. For example, if this is A bar, 5 centimeter. So I'm talking about B bar is also 5 centimeter. Magnitude is same, but direction is opposite to each other. So we can write A bar is equal to minus of B bar, or I can write B bar is equal to minus of A bar. Minus means that they are the negative vector of each other, or the sign means their direction is opposite. So here, negative vector of A bar is minus A bar, you can remember. Then after that, co-initial. Co means same, initial. So if two vectors having the same initial point, they are called as co-initial vector. Two vectors are said to be co-initial if they have a common initial point. Means if A bar is this and this is B bar. So they are started from same point. So this is the initial point is same. Then they are called as co-initial vectors. Co-initial means vector with same initial point. Then co-terminal. Co means same, terminal. They terminate at same point. Then they are called as co-terminal. Two vectors are said to be coterminal if they terminate at common point. And this is A bar and this is B bar. They end at common points. They are called as coterminate vector. They are ending themselves at a common point, then they are coterminal. Then coplanar. Co means same, planar means they are, if they are lying in the same plane, they are called as coplanar. For example, this is a plane. And I'm talking about some few vectors here. A bar, B bar, then C bar. I can draw D bar. So these are the vectors. They are coming in this plane, same plane. Then they are coplanar vectors. Coplanar means they are lying in the same plane. Then they are called as coplanar vectors. The next one is position vector. A vector which gives position of particle, position of object with respect to the origin. Then they are called as position vector. For example, here, let I tell you example of position vector. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, this is point x. Sorry, this is point P, whose coordinates are x and y. Whose coordinates are x and y. Then we can write this r bar is the position vector, and r bar we can write x into I cap plus y into j cap. Like this way we can write the position vector. So we have to learn this in detail in the next article, but here you remember what is position vector, which gives the position. That vector is called as position vector. Resultant vector. Now what is resultant vector? The result of two or more. Result of two or more vectors is called as resultant vector. When two or more vector result into a single vector, the produce means that vector is called as resultant vector. And if I consider, so this is first vector A bar, so this is B bar. So when result of these two is coming, this a single vector, this is R bar. Then this R bar is called as resultant vector of these two vectors A and B. So you can remember when result of two or more vector into a single vector and which produces same effect as produced by the all vectors is the resultant vector. Addition of vectors. Now what is addition of vector? Basically here we have to learn vector algebra. So vector having a separate method to add, subtract, multiply. So these methods we have to learn. So first we start with the addition of vectors. So there are two methods of addition of vector. First one is the direct method and second one is geometric method. Let me learn direct method for addition of vector first. Now what is direct method for addition of vector? In that also two cases are there. Case one, so vector having same direction. So here you note one thing here. If vector is having same direction, then how to add? You can see here. I consider one example, vector A bar, you can see in a diagram, which have 5 centimeter magnitude and you can see a direction. B bar having a 2 centimeter magnitude and direction is same to the direction of A bar. So they're having a same direction. Then how to add? So you can add it directly. So here, so R bar you can write is equal to A bar plus B bar. So A bar is 5 centimeter magnitude, B bar is 2 centimeter, 5 plus 2 is 7. So R bar is 7 centimeter. And this R bar is a resultant of A and B. So this is a resultant vector. So you remember one thing here. If two vector having a same direction, then we can add it directly. For example, if this is a block, on this block we are applying a force F1 5 Newton and we are applying another force 2 Newton. Then this case is similar to the block, same block I am drawing, is applying a 7 Newton force. So when 5 Newton force and 2 Newton force is acting in the same direction, then these forces we can add and we get total force is equal to 7 Newton. So this is a case 1 and this is case 2, both are similar. Or this is a way of adding a vector if they have a same direction. I hope you understood this. Now after that, in the case 2, we have to learn after the same direction, we have to learn opposite directions. Case 2, if two vectors having opposite direction. For example, if two vectors having opposite direction, you can see this A bar having a 5 centimeter magnitude and direction you can see in a diagram. B bar is a 2 centimeter magnitude and direction is opposite to the direction of A bar. Then when we are adding these two vectors, we get here 3 centimeter. So remember one thing here. So this R bar, we can write here A bar plus addition, it's addition. And B bar having opposite direction of A bar. So I can put the minus sign to B bar. So here 5 centimeter minus 2 centimeter is 3 centimeter. Or you can remember here, and the resultant vector having a direction same to the direction of a larger vector. So this A bar is a 5 centimeter and which is larger as compared to the B bar. So the resultant having a direction equal to the direction of a larger vector A bar. So I hope you understood. But listen, so this is not called as subtraction. So here, so A bar minus B bar is coming here. But this is not the subtraction. Subtraction is little different. So this is the addition. If the two vectors having opposite direction. You remember this is not subtraction. Now let I tell you a general example here. If I consider this is a block. I consider one block here. On this block, two forces are acting. First one is 5 Newton in this direction and second one is 2 Newton in this direction. Then where the block goes toward the larger force. And this case is similar to the 3 Newton in this direction. So listen, resultant diagram of these two we can draw like this. Basically, if the two vectors having opposite direction, we can subtract these two vectors. Same direction, we can add it. But listen, this is not the subtraction that you have to do, because subtraction is little different as compared to this. Now after this direct method, next one we have to start geometric method for addition of vector. So now geometric method. Now let's see. So first geometric method is a triangle method. Now let I explain triangle method is what. So for that we have to remember a law of triangle. So law of triangle for vector addition. Now what is the statement for law of triangle? See here a triangle, you can see this first side of the triangle shows first vector A. Second side shows second vector B. You can see a direction also here. So first side shows first vector, second side shows second vector. Then addition of these two is the third side. You can see here A bar plus B bar, we are getting along the third side. So triangle method is first vector gives first side, second vector gives second side, then addition is the third side. And here the first vector and second vector we are talking about in magnitude and direction. So here magnitude also we are considering and direction. See here, you can see this statement here. So when two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of the triangle, then their resultant is given in magnitude and direction by third side of triangle. And that third side drawn from starting point of first vector. This is starting point of the first vector to the end point of second vector. Second vector is B bar and this is the end point. So we have to draw like this. Starting point of first vector to the end point of second vector. Now you can read this statement without this red line. So if two vectors are represented by two sides of triangle, then their resultant is given by third side of the triangle. But only the thing is here we inserted a word in magnitude and direction. So I hope everyone understood this law of triangle method. You can remember the statement very easily. So question may be asked in examination, state and explain a law of triangle. So you have to write this statement, and explanation you can write by this diagram. If vector a bar, b bar shown in figure represent two sides of triangle, then the resultant r bar is given in magnitude and direction by third side of the triangle. The same thing we elaborated here in the explanation. Okay. Now after this triangle method, we have to learn the next method. Before the next method, some article is there related to this. A vector addition is commutative. So we have to prove that vector addition is commutative. What is commutative law of addition? That also you come to that. So I consider here. So this is triangle. So this is a parallelogram. So with this diagonal, two triangles we get. This is first and this is second triangle. Okay. Now here, see OAB triangle. OAB means this one. So this triangle. So apply the triangle law to this. So this first vector P bar, second vector Q bar is equal to this third vector R bar. I hope you understood this. P bar plus Q bar is equal to R bar by triangle law. First side plus second side is equal to third side. Similar manner, we can apply triangle law to this OCB. So this one, next triangle OCB, this one. So to this one, we can write this first side Q bar plus P bar is equal to R. Okay, this is a triangle. Then, if you see this very carefully, this P bar plus Q bar plus P bar, both are equal to R. One side is same, R bar, because this is a common side. So here we can write P bar plus Q bar is equal to Q bar plus Q bar. So this is the commutative law. Commutative law means if we add P and Q, it is equal to addition of Q and P. So this is the commutative. In examination question may be asked, show that vector addition obey commutative. Then you have to draw this diagram. You have to write two equations, and by that two equation you can justify it. Vector addition is a commutative in nature. So this commutative law is proved. Now after that, vector addition is associative. Now what is associative? Now for that I drawn a different diagram here. You can see this diagram. Now from triangle law, see this triangle OQR. So you can see this one OQR. So in that triangle, by triangle law we can write R bar is equal to this AB bar plus C bar. Now how we get this AB bar? If we use this triangle, see here. So this triangle when you use, this A bar plus B bar is the third side. A bar plus B bar is third side. So this is A bar plus B bar. Now when I am using this triangle, this R bar is equal to this A bar plus B bar in a bracket plus this C bar. So we get this one. Now after that, from triangle OPR, you can see the triangle OPR. So this is O, P and this is R. So from this. So we can write here. So this side is B plus C. You can see this triangle B bar plus C bar is the third side of this triangle. So this by this triangle we can write. So by this triangle we can write this R bar is equal to this A bar plus B bar plus C bar. So A bar I written, B bar plus C bar. Now this is R bar, R bar. So I can write this and this same. So I can write here A plus B in a bracket, A bar plus B bar in a bracket plus C bar is equal to A bar plus B in a bracket B bar plus C bar. So when both sides are same, it is called as associative. So associative law means anywhere we can put the bracket. Then also we get the same result. So here, this is the associative law. In examination question may be asked through associative vector addition obey associative law. Then you have to write up to this. So you have to draw diagram and you have to show it. So it obey associative law of addition. I hope everyone understood what is commutative law, what is associative law. Now one problem is here. Express vector AC bar in terms of vector AB bar and CB bar as shown in figure. So you can see a diagram. Now here, solution also you can see using triangle of addition, vectors can be written. So what you have to do, you have to express this AC bar in term of these two. So we can apply triangle law. This is the first side, this is second side, and this is a resultant. So you can write AC bar plus CB bar. So listen, when you are writing a vector, you remember you can write this AC bar. And as you cannot write BC bar, you have to write CB bar as per the name C to B. You can see arrow is C to B. So AC bar plus CB bar is equal to AB bar. So we get this. And you have to write AC bar. So AC you have to keep this side. CB you can transfer to that side. You will get minus CB here. So AB bar minus CB bar. So this is here a triangle law of vector addition. So we use triangle law and we are written AC bar only. That's it. Now next method for addition of vector is polygon method. Now here polygon method is not a separate method. It is a sub method for the triangle. It is based on the purely based on the triangle method. Now here, let I tell you the law of polygon of vector addition. Statement that I tell you here, you can see a polygon. Now when we are talking about a polygon, poly means many, gon means angle, sides, diagram with many side, many angle is a polygon. So this is P1 bar, this is side is P2 bar, P3 bar, P4 bar, and then their addition is this. Means here, addition of sides is equal to the remaining side. In a triangle law, you know that this is first side plus second side, addition of these two sides is the remaining side. Similar manner in a polygon also, addition of sides is equal to the remaining side. Okay. So here, see here, when number of vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by sides of incomplete polygon. So this is very important. So if I draw polygon like this and like this. So these are the sides of incomplete polygon. Then the resultant is given magnitude and direction by remaining side. So I can draw a remaining side here. So this is the resultant, similar to triangle law. But here drawn from starting point of first vector to the end point of last vector. In triangle method, it is second vector. But here we don't know how many vectors are there in the polygon method. So to the end point of last vector. So when I'm talking about this is the first side, second side, this is third side. So this is P1 bar, this is P2 bar, this is P3 bar. Then addition or resultant is given by the third remaining side. This is a resultant. So that's it. Now let's see the explanation of this. So consider P1, P2, P3, P4 bar represents sides of incomplete polygon. So don't consider this R bar first. So remaining sides we consider. Now, after that, from triangle OAB, you can see this triangle OAB. So this triangle. From triangle OAB, this OB bar is equal to OA bar plus AB bar. So this is OA and this is AB. OA bar and AB bar. So we can write here OA is represented by P1 bar and AB is P2 bar. So we can write like this. OB bar is equal to P1 bar plus P2. Similar manner when we are using another triangle. So this triangle. So by this OBC triangle, we can write OC bar is equal to this OB plus BC bar. Then OB, this we can write it here instead of this OB. P1 plus P2 and this BC represented by P3. So we get this OC bar. Similar manner from triangle OCD, you can see the remaining triangle now. So this is the remaining triangle. by this remaining triangle. Again, this OD bar is equal to OC plus CD bar, and this OC bar we can substitute here. So it is P1 plus P2 plus P3 bar, and this CD represent P4 bar. So here we are. So this is a resultant. So resultant vector. This is expression for resultant in polygon method. Now let's see problem based on this polygon method. So this is a problem given in your textbook. So from following figure, determine the resultant of four forces A1, A2, A3, and A4. You have to determine the resultant of A1, A2, A3, and A4. Resultant of these four. So you know that by triangle method, this OB is coming A1 bar plus A2 bar. Then when we are talking about this triangle, OC is coming A1, A2, and this A3. So A1 bar plus A2 bar plus A3 bar it is coming. And then this is the resultant vector. So this resultant vector is equal to A5 bar, and it is equal to, by triangle law, A1 bar plus A2 bar plus A3 bar plus this A4 bar, and this is the answer for this problem. So you can see here it is already given here. This is A1 plus A2 bar. Okay, then after that this is A1, A2, and A3 bar, and then resultant is A5, which is equal to addition of 1. So I hope everyone understood this polygon method. It is some method of the triangle method. Third method for addition of vector, and it is parallelogram method. So we learn triangle method, we learn polygon method. Now we have to learn parallelogram method for addition of vectors. So let's see law of parallelogram for vector addition. Let I tell you the statement. See the statement here. If two vectors are represented by two adjacent, this word is very important, adjacent sides of parallelogram starting from common point, then the resultant is given in magnitude and direction by diagonal of the parallelogram. Now let's see the diagram here. So if this is a parallelogram, or let I draw the parallelogram for the explanation purpose. So if this is a parallelogram, parallelogram means geometrical, it's a quadrilateral whose opposite sides are parallel. Square is a parallelogram, rectangle is a parallelogram. But here in parallelogram, no restriction on angle. In square and rectangle angle, every angle is 90 degrees. But here no restriction on the angles. The only thing is opposite side must be parallel. Then that is a parallelogram. So here two sides represented by two adjacent sides. So you can see this is the first side A P bar, this is second side Q bar. Adjacent, starting from common points. So you can see here P and Q, they are starting from common point. Then their resultant in magnitude and direction is given by diagonal. So then their addition, their resultant is a diagonal. But which diagonal? Starting from the same common point. So we have to start it from the same common point. So this is the resultant R1. Means if this first side of the parallelogram, this is second side of the adjacent sides P bar Q bar, then their resultant is the diagonal, which is starting from the same common point. Simple example, let I tell you. Law of parallelogram. If this is a toy cart, if we tied it by two threads, one by this, one thread we pulled it by this side, and another thread I can tell you, just a minute. So here, first thread is this direction and second thread is in this direction. So where the toy car goes, it goes like this. And this is law of parallelogram basically. So this is the first side is the first vector, second side is second vector, then resultant is this diagonal. Now here we consider the explanation. You can see we consider vector p bar and q bar inclined at an angle theta. They are representing adjacent sides of the parallelogram OACB. Then the resultant is given by diagonal OC. You can see here diagram. So this is P bar, this is Q bar, angle is theta, okay, and the resultant is R bar, which represents this diagonal OC. That's it. So this is the law of parallelogram. I hope you understood this. Now here we have to obtain here expression for magnitude and result. Magnitude and resultant of this, sorry, magnitude and direction of this result. You can remember these lines only. If two vectors are represented by two adjacent sides of parallelogram, then the resultant is given resultant is given in magnitude and direction by diagonal of parallelogram. Now expression for magnitude and direction of resultant. So we have to learn expression for magnitude and direction of resultant in parallelogram. So we consider a parallelogram OBCA. This is a parallelogram. Now I can consider this P bar represent a first side, Q bar represent adjacent side. They are starting from common point. Theta is the angle of inclination between P and Q. Then here, this diagonal OC is representing resultant R1. That resultant we have to find out. Now here, let I draw here perpendicular line from this point C to the line OA. So this line CD. So this is 90-degree angle. Then here we get right angle triangle. Now, so from triangle OCD, now you can see a triangle named OCD. So this OCD means this triangle, full triangle. This is a right angle triangle. Now you can use Pythagoras and tell me OC square is equal to how much? This OC square is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse square is one side square plus another side. So OD square plus CD square. So this is OD and this is CD. Okay, this is OC square. Now after that, this OD, we can write this addition of what? OQ and QD. So I can write, sorry, OA. So here they written name A. So here this is a Q. So I erase this Q. See here, it is, this Q is here. Huh? It's a printing mistake. Now this side OA and AD. Addition of these two sides is OD. So OA and AD I written here. OA and AD. OD square, so OA plus AD bracket square. Now we can use A plus B bracket square expansion. So you know that A square plus 2AB plus B square. So by using that, I can write OA square plus 2 OA into AD and this AD square and this CD square as it is. Then after that, you can see this AD square plus CD square. That I can rearrange the term and that I written here AD square plus CD square. This OA square as it is, 2 OA AD I written at the end. Then from triangle ACD, by again I apply Pythagoras and tell me AC square is how much? AC square is AD square plus CD square. So this AC square is equal to AD square plus CD square. This AD square plus CD square is AC. So you can see here this AD square plus CD square is AC square. So instead of these two terms, I can substitute AC square. Okay. So by Pythagoras we can write this as well as AD is equal to AC cos theta. So cos theta. This cos theta, you can use this triangle, and cos theta is adjacent side AD by AC. Hence, AD is equal to AC cos theta. So you can see here AC cos theta. Now, hence, we can write this equation again. OC square is equal to OA square as it is. Instead of these two terms, I write AC square plus 2OA into, instead of AD, I written AC cos theta. After substituting this OC as a R, OA as a P, and AC is equal to OB, and it is equal to the Q, we get R square is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. So this equation we get for R square. Now R is a resultant. R is a resultant, and its square we get. So we have to write formula for R. So we can write R is equal to under root P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. And this is the expression for magnitude of resultant in parallelogram method. After that, we have to obtain expression for direction of resultant. Now we consider here this resultant R bar is inclined with an angle alpha with the vector P bar. And then this alpha gives us the direction of this resultant. Because if this angle alpha is 45, we come to know that what is the direction of this R. And if alpha is 90, then you know that direction is upward. So obviously this alpha gives us the direction of resultant. So we have to find out alpha. So from this triangle OCD, you can see, you refer this triangle OCD. So this O, C and D, this triangle. In that triangle, tan alpha is equal to, tan means opposite side CD divided by adjacent side OD. So again this OD we can write OA. So this Q is not here, it's a printing mistake. So we can write OA plus AD. So OA plus AD we can write instead of this OD. Then this tan alpha as it is. Only the thing is here we have to substitute AD is AC cos theta. We can substitute this AD is equal to AC cos theta. CD, we are not written anything for CD, so CD as it is. OA is what? OA is P, and AD is AC cos theta, and AC is Q. So Q cos theta. CD upon Q cos theta. Now CD is what? CD is the opposite side of the theta. So sin theta we can write CD divided by AC. So we can write CD is equal to AC sin theta. So AC means Q sin theta. AC is Q, because if this is a Q, obviously this is also Q. So we can write Q sin theta. So we get the final formula Q sin theta. Instead of CD, we have to substitute Q sin theta, this one. Q sin theta divided by P plus Q cos theta. And this is the final expression for tan alpha. Then by using that, we can write alpha also. You can see. So we substitute here AD, CD. Then we get this tan alpha is equal to this Q sin theta divided by P plus Q cos theta. Then we have to write formula of Q. So sorry, alpha. So tan we can shift to that side. So it is a tan inverse. So alpha is equal to tan inverse Q sin theta divided by P plus Q cos theta. And this is the expression for direction of result. As we find out this angle alpha, we get direction of resultant in parallelogram method. Now we take problem based on this. So let's see problem. A water is flowing in a stream with a velocity. So here velocity of the water is given 5 km/h in an easterly direction. So in the east direction. Relative to the shore. Speed of boat is relative to still water is 20 km/h. If the boat enters the stream heading north, with what velocity the boat actually travel? Now let's see here what they given. So see, you can see a diagram. So on paper, you remember this is east direction, this is west, this is south, and this is north. So boat is moving easterly direction. So this direction. So it started moving in this direction with the speed 20 km/h. You can see. If boat enter in a stream heading north, it is a stream heading towards north. With what velocity will the boat actually travel? So here, water is flowing. Water is flowing 5 km in the easterly direction. So in this direction, in the direction east, you can see here. So this is the direction of water. Relative to the shore, if speed boat to the still water is 20 km/h, speed of this boat is 20 km/h. If boat enter stream heading north, so it is towards the north. So what with velocity boat actually travel? So this is the speed of the boat, this is speed of the water, and actual speed we have to find out. So we get the speed in this direction. So we can use a parallelogram method. So you can consider here this is a parallelogram, and here this is 5. So this is also 5 km/h, and then this angle between this P and Q is 90. So you know that. So here P is 20, Q is 5, and angle between P and Q is 90. So we can write R is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. So I can write here 90 angles. So cos 90 is 0. So these get cancelled. So P square plus Q square. So in a root 5 square plus 20 square. You can see here. So resultant is equal. In a root 20 square plus 5 square. It is coming root 425 means 20.61 km/h. So direction is given by this alpha. Alpha is, so alpha or tan alpha you can find out. This is alpha. So tan alpha means this 5/20. So tan alpha is 5/20. So we have to find out alpha. Alpha is tan inverse of 5/20. Tan inverse of 0.25 is coming 14 degree and 4 minutes. So this is the direction. This angle gives us the direction. So the velocity of the boat is 20.61 km/h in a direction 14 degree 4 minute east of north. Now we start subtraction of vector. Subtraction of vectors. We finish addition, now we have to start subtraction. So you note here, like addition of vector, subtraction of vector can be carried out geometrically. For that, only we have to add negative of vector to be subtracted to the first vector. So in subtraction, we have to follow all the rules of addition. Only the thing is, negative vector we have to add. So see here, subtraction of vector can be defined by vector addition of one vector with negative vector of other. For example, question is subtract b bar from a bar. So subtract b bar from a bar. So you can see this is a bar and this is b bar. You can see this is b bar. So what you have to do, you have to add negative vector of b bar. Sorry, subtract b bar, you have to subtract. So you have to add a negative vector of b bar in a bar. Negative vector means let I reverse the direction of B. So subtract vector B bar from A bar. Find negative vector of B bar. So negative vector means let I reverse the direction. You can see I reverse the direction. Then as I reverse the direction, keep it near this vector A bar. Then we can use the rules of addition. So we can use triangle law here. This is first vector, this is second vector. So resultant is this. So R bar is equal to A bar minus B bar. And this is the answer. So you can see. So this is the subtraction of vector. For subtraction of vector, you remember, we have to follow all the rules of addition of vector. Only the thing is here. The vector we have to subtract. So we have to add negative vector of that vector in the previous vector. Resolution of vectors. Now new article is resolution of vector. Resolution means what? Process of splitting up a vector into two or more components is known as resolution. Splitting. Splitting means separation of one vector into two or more components. It is called as resolution. Vector into which a given vector is split is called as component. If vector is split up into two, then the two are called as component of the previous vector. Rectangular component. So before the rectangular component is this A bar is split up into two. A1 bar and A2 bar. Then A1 bar and A2 bar are components of A bar. Now rectangular component. What is rectangular component? Rectangular component means the components which are mutually perpendicular. Mutually perpendicular components. If I consider this is a vector A bar, and if A bar is resolved into two, AX bar and AY bar, and if AX and AY both are perpendicular to each other, then they are called as rectangular component of vector A bar. So rectangular component means the components which are mutually perpendicular to each other. They are called as rectangular. So rectangular resolution of vector in a plane. So we consider A bar, which is lying in XY plane. We can see here this is A bar. And this is x-axis, y-axis. They are lying in XY plane. Draw a line from head of A bar perpendicular to the coordinate axis. Then we can resolve this A bar into two, A1 bar and A2 bar. So we can write here A bar is equal to A1 bar plus A2. Now here A1 we can write AX I cap, and A2 we can write AY j cap, because I cap is what? Vector divided by magnitude. So AX vector divided by magnitude of this AX, or I can use here AX here and here AY. So this AX plus AY is equal to A, and AX I can write AX I cap, and AY I can write AY j cap. Okay. Similar manner, j cap we can write vector is AY bar divided by magnitude AY. So AY bar is AY j cap. Then after that, we get A bar is equal to AX I cap plus AY j cap. Or if I consider the three-dimensional case, A bar I can write AX I cap plus AY j cap plus AZ k cap. If I consider Z axis, then we get this. Then after that, resolution of vector using trigonometry. So we consider this again same thing. A bar we can write AX I cap plus AY j cap. Then AX we can write A cos theta, and AY we can write A sin theta. So we can write this equation by substituting ax and ay in that equation also. Okay. Then a component of vector can be positive, negative, or zero depending on the value of this theta. On this theta, the component depend. Now we have two ways to specify a vector in a plane and can be specified. Its magnitude a and direction theta makes with the x-axis. You can see here. So it make angle theta with the x-axis. Magnitude of a bar is a. Second, its component is a components, rectangular component we can call ax and ay. If a and theta are given, then ax and ay can be obtained using the equation, above equation. Or here we can write, you know that ax is what? A cos theta. Ay is a sin theta. Ax and ay, you know that. Ax, a cos theta, ay, a sin theta. Now, by squaring and adding, we get this equation. And here cos square, we can take here a square common. So a square common we can take in a bracket sin square theta plus cos square theta we get, and it is 1. So we get a square only. Here it is written here. So a we can write. So this is a square is this. So a we can write like this ax square plus ay square. And this tan theta we can write ay divided by ax for direction purpose. So in three-dimensional case we can write here three-dimensional case. Only the az we have to add here. So this formula gives us a magnitude of the vector a1. So for example, let I tell you simple example based on this question. Find magnitude. Find magnitude of a bar. If a bar is 2i cap plus 3j cap plus k cap, then answer we can find out magnitude by using component square. 2ax is how much? 2. So 2 square plus 3 square plus 1 with k 1 is there. So square. So 4 plus 9 plus 1 is under root 14 is a, or magnitude of a. You can write like this way. So in that way, by using this formula, we can find out magnitude of any vector. Now you can see this question. Find unit vector in the direction of this. Unit vector. See here, if I consider this is a bar, unit vector in the direction of a bar is a cap. Then a cap is vector divided by a magnitude of that vector. So vector. So unit vector is vector divided by magnitude. So I consider that this vector is c bar, and then we find out magnitude of that, and this vector divided by magnitude is the unit vector. Now let's see here. So I name this vector as a v bar. Then magnitude of this is 3 square in a root 3 square plus 4 square. So it is coming 5. Then unit vector, you know that. Unit vector is, so alpha is used here. You can use a, b, c, anything. So vector divided by its magnitude. Now this is the vector and this is the magnitude. So take the division of these two. So you can see alpha cap is equal to vector divided by magnitude. So after doing that, so vector is 3i cap plus 4j cap divided by this 5, or we can write in that. So this is the answer for the unit vector. Now we start multiplication of vector. Basically here there are two types of multiplication of vector. First one is scalar product. It is also called as dot product. And second one is vector product. It is called as cross product. So it means that as we multiply two vector and after multiplication we get scalar quantity, then it is called a scalar product. And after multiplication we get vector quantity, means the quantity which having a magnitude and direction, then it is a vector product. So this scalar product we are representing by dot. So it is also called as dot product. For example, scalar product we can represent by A bar dot B bar. So it is called as dot product. And vector product we can represent A bar cross B bar. So it is represented by cross, so it is called as cross product. Now we have to see here in detail what is dot product and what is cross product. And remember here, maximum problem of your textbook or maximum problem based on this multiplication of the vector. So you remember this article very well. So scalar product or dot product. First, let's see definition. Scalar product defined as product of magnitudes of two vector and cosine of the smallest angle between them. So let's see here, two vectors, p bar and q bar. So I consider here, so this is p bar and this is q bar and theta is the angle between them. Then scalar product between p and q, we can write p bar dot q bar is equal. And this product is equal to p into this q into this cos into this theta. So p is what? Magnitude of p bar. Q is what here? Magnitude of vector q bar. Cos of theta, cos of angle between them. So we are considering the smallest angle. So listen here. So this formula you have to write in word. So it is defined as product of. So you can see product of 3, 1, 2 and 3. Product of magnitudes of two vectors and cosine. Full form of cos is cosine. Cosine of the smallest angle between them is called as scalar product. So you remember what is scalar product. Now here we can write like this way. So the same I written here. In another way, you can see this diagram. So when I'm talking about two vectors, this is first a vector p bar and this is q bar. If I draw a perpendicular line here, then this is theta angle. So I can write cos theta is equal to adjacent side. So let I name this adjacent side as a x divided by hypotenuse, which is represented by vector q. So I can write magnitude q. So x is equal to q cos theta. So I can write here q cos theta. So you can see here q cos theta. Means vector q bar is in this direction and its component is in this direction. You can see. So this is vector q bar and the component is coming in this direction. Similar manner, if I am considering the same vector again p bar and this is q bar and I am drawing a perpendicular line like this. So this is 90 degree. Then a same angle theta, then cos theta is equal. I can consider this adjacent side x and the hypotenuse is p, x by p. So x is equal to p cos theta. So this is coming p cos theta, this side. So I written it here. And this side is p cos theta. Vector p bar is in this direction and p cos theta is like this. So remember, so this is the vector q bar and its component is in this direction. So we can define this scalar product like this way. This vector magnitude of the vector p and q cos theta is this. And this magnitude multiplied by this q cos theta is the scalar product. So scalar product of two vector can be defined in that way also. The magnitude of vector, one vector, and component of another vector in the direction of the vector is the scalar product. You can define, you can remember it anyway. If the question is asked, find out component of p bar in the direction of q bar, you have to find out p cos theta, that you remember. Then after that, characteristics. So your characteristics are very, very important because based on characteristic, you have to solve the problems. Small question may be asked. So the first characteristic, scalar product obey or scalar product of two vector obey commutative law. Commutative law of multiplication. So we learn commutative law of addition, but here commutative law of multiplication. Scalar product obey commutative law. It means that if we find out p bar dot q bar and we find out q bar dot p bar, then both are coming same. So here we can say that scalar product obey commutative law of multiplication. You can prove the commutative law by considering p bar dot. You can find out p bar dot q bar, equation 1, and q bar dot p bar you can find out and you get equation number 2, and they are coming same. So scalar product obey commutative law of multiplication. It obey distributive law of multiplication. It obey distributive law of multiplication. Now what is distributive law? You can see here this equation, p bar dot q bar plus r bar is equal to, we can distribute the term p bar dot q bar plus p bar dot r bar. So this is, both the sides are equal. So we can say that scalar product obey distributive law of multiplication. Now third one, self dot product is equal to square of the magnitude of that vector. It means that if I consider this is a vector p bar, so vector making angle 0 with itself. So p bar dot p bar is equal. You know that p bar dot q bar is coming p q cos theta. Now here p bar dot p bar is p into cos of 0 degree because no angle. Na? So vector making 0 angle with itself. So it is coming cos 0 is 1, so p square. So p bar dot p bar is coming p square. So here self dot product. So here it is written self dot product is equal to square of the magnitude of the vector. Now fourth characteristic, scalar product of two vector which are perpendicular to each other is 0. Now how it is 0? You can see here if a and b, or you can consider p and q. If this is a vector a bar and this is b bar, and the angle theta is 90 degree, then we can write a bar dot b bar is magnitude of first vector, second vector into cos of angle between them. Cos 90 is coming 0. So a b into 0 is coming 0. So a bar dot b bar is coming 0. So or you can write if p bar and q bar are perpendicular, then it is coming 0. You can use a, b, c, any symbol you can use. You remember if the vectors are perpendicular, then their scalar product is coming 0, and this is the characteristic. So you remember in any question, if they ask prove that two vectors are perpendicular, how you can prove? You can find out their scalar multiplication a bar dot b bar. If it is coming 0, you can write in the conclusion they are perpendicular. Or question may be asked, check whether two vectors are perpendicular or not. So if it is coming 0, then perpendicular. Not coming 0 means they are not perpendicular. Now fifth characteristic, scalar product of rectangular unit vectors. Rectangular unit vector means I cap, j cap and k cap are the rectangular unit vectors. And you know that. So if I consider this is x axis, this is y axis, this is z axis, then I cap is along x axis, j cap is along y axis, and along z axis k cap. Then you can see here their scalar product we have I cap dot I cap. So if they are same, the vectors are same, we know that, then it is equal to square of magnitude. Magnitude of I is 1 because it's a one unit vector. So I square. I square means 1 square. 1 square is 1. Square of the magnitude. It's a unit vector means whose magnitude is 1. So 1 square is 1. Similar manner, j cap dot j cap 1. K cap dot k cap 1. Then after that, I cap dot j cap. So you know that here I cap is in the direction of x axis and j cap in the direction of y axis. So I cap and j cap multiplication. So angle is 90 degree between I and j. So if the angle is 90 degree, then scalar multiplication is 0. Between I and j, angle is 90, so multiplication is 0. Between j and k, so k is along z axis. You know that y and z axis are again 90-degree angle. So here it is coming 0. Again here also K and I. Angle is 90. So product is 0. Scalar product. So we use this property here. Similar manner, J dot K, J dot I. So J dot I, again we reverse the order. Then also the angle is 90. Only here J dot K and here K dot. So we reverse the order. Then also angle is 90. Angle is 90 means scalar product is coming 0. So these are the scalar product of rectangular unit vectors. Next characteristic. 6.1. Scalar product of two vectors can be expressed in terms of rectangular components. So let I prove this. So I consider vector p bar dot q bar. P bar I can write like this way in terms of rectangular component. P x I cap, p y j cap, p z k cap. Dot q I can write q x I cap, q y j cap plus q z k cap. Now we have to simplify this. Px I cap into every term of this bracket. Then what we get? So you can see. Then this px into this qx I written. Then this I cap dot and this I cap dot. Then px to qy. I cap dot j cap. Then px into this qj. And here I cap and it's k cap. Similar manner, next time py into every term. Pyqx. You can see pyqx. Then here j cap and here it's I cap. J cap dot I cap. Then py into this qy. J cap dot j cap. Then py into this qz. J cap k cap dot k cap. Then next time pz. Next time pz into every term of another bracket. Pz qx. Then k cap here and here I cap. Then pz qy k cap dot j. Pz qz k cap dot k. Now we have to use the previous property. I cap dot I cap is 1. J cap dot j cap is 1. K cap dot k cap is 1. This is coming 0. Ij is coming 0. 0 into this one 0. Then here it is 0. So this is 0. So 0 is coming. This is 0. 0, 0 into anything is 0. So we get next term px qx. So here we get px qx, then py qy, and then pz qy. In the next step, you can see px qx, py qy, pz qy. And this is very important. This property you can use to find out the multiplication. If, for example, if the question is p bar is 2I cap plus 3j cap plus k cap, and q bar is 3I cap plus 2j cap minus 2k cap. Find p bar dot q bar. How we find out? By this formula. So p bar dot q bar is equal px qx. Px means here with I cap and here with I cap. So with I cap here 2 and here 3. 2 into 3 plus sign. Py qy. Py means what? This you can see. This is py and this is qy. With j whatever there it's multiplication. With j 3 and with j 2 plus. So here pz qz. Now here pz is 1 and qz is minus 2. So we get 6 plus 6 minus 2. So 12 minus 2 is 10. So we get p bar dot q bar is 10. So by using this property, I hope you understood how to do scalar multiplication. Means p bar dot q bar how to find. So component multiplication with I, whatever the component is there, their multiplication with j and with k, and there's addition. Core question may be asked, show that like this. Show that scalar product of two vector can be expressed in terms of rectangular. Then in answer you have to write that I hope you understood this character. Now, characteristic number 7. Few physical quantities can be expressed as a scalar product. And the first quantity we can discuss is the work done. So work done, formula you can see F bar dot S. F bar is a vector, S bar is a vector. But work done is a scalar. Because after the scalar multiplication of vector, we get a scalar quantity. So this is scalar product. So we can write F bar dot S bar is equal to Fs cos theta. So we get this formula for work done. Now by using this formula, question may be asked, find out work done. They will give you in question F bar is 2i cap plus 3j cap plus k cap, and S bar is 2i cap plus 3j cap plus k cap, 2k cap. For example, I'm picking find out work done. So you can find out F bar dot S bar. You know how to find out F bar dot S bar. You can write F bar here dot S bar you can write. Then multiplication of I component means 2 into this 2 plus 3 into this 3 plus 1 into this 2. Then it is coming 4 plus 9 plus 3. So it is 12 plus 4 is 16. So 16 joule is the work done. So in that you can find out work done. Next quantity is power. So power we can write. You know that power is equal to work by time. So work we can write F bar dot S bar divided by time by T. So this S bar dot T bar, S is the displacement, T is the time. So that we can write velocity. So F bar dot V bar we can. So this is a formula of power. This is a formula of work. These quantities we can express in terms of scalar product. Now we start vector product. It is also called as cross product because it is shown by cross. Now what is vector product first? So it is a vector because after multiplication of two vector we are getting a vector. So it is vector whose magnitude is equal to product of magnitudes of two vectors and sine of smallest angle between them. And direction is perpendicular to the plane containing two vectors, and its direction is, or we can write direction is given by right hand. For example, if I consider this is A bar, this is B bar, and this is angle between A and B. Now this is plane in which A and B is there. Then A bar cross B bar is a vector. Its direction given by right hand. So you can apply right hand rule like this. So if A to B means here we are talking about A to B. So A to B. So then when we are curl finger is more in the direction of A to B, then thumb is in upward direction. So thumb gives us direction of A bar cross B bar. And B to A is in downward direction. So B bar cross A bar is in downward direction. And here A bar cross B bar magnitude is equal to, you can see here, magnitude is equal to product of, see here, product of magnitudes of two vectors, magnitude of A multiplied by magnitude of B into this sine, SIN, sine of smallest angle between them. If A and B having a theta angle between them, then sine theta we can. So we get this one. So when we are writing in vector form, we can write here C cap, a unit vector we have to write. So which is in the direction of this vector, A bar cross B bar. In magnitude, I can write here. Magnitude of this A bar cross B bar is equal to A into B into sine theta only. So that much only in magnitude. But when we are writing in vector form, we have to write unit vectors. C cap I written here. No need to write C cap, you can use anyone. But only the thing is this unit vector must be in the direction of this A bar cross. Take care. Now here I hope everyone understood what is vector. You have to write this equation in word. Vector product of two vector is a vector whose magnitude is product of magnitudes of two vectors and sine of the angle, smallest angle between the vectors. And direction is given by right hand rule. That's it. Now here you can see P and Q, the vectors are considered here. P bar, Q bar. Then P bar cross Q bar is in upward direction. If you talk about Q bar cross P bar, it is in downward direction. Or it is given by right hand or screw rule. So when we are moving screw P to Q, it is going up. Or Q to P, the screw goes down. Now here you can see this is P, this is Q. P bar cross Q bar, it is in upward direction. And this is P and this is Q. Same P and Q. Q bar cross P bar is in downward direction by right hand. Now let's see characteristics of vector product. First characteristic. Vector product of two vector does not obey commutative law. So this is very important. Does not obey commutative. The reason is commutative does not obey commutative law means P bar cross Q bar and Q bar cross P bar, they are not equal. So this is P bar. So this is Q bar. So they are in the same plane. And here by right hand rule, this is P bar cross Q bar. And Q bar cross P bar is in downward direction. So they are not same. The same vector means they have a same magnitude and direction. So you can see the direction P bar cross Q bar upward, Q bar cross Q bar downward. So they are not same. Not same means does not obey commutative law of multiplication. So here we can write they are not equal. Or here we can write magnitude of P bar cross Q bar and magnitude of Q bar cross P bar. Magnitude is same, but direction is opposite. So we cannot write here in vector form. Or we can write like this. In vector form, you can write P bar cross Q bar is equal to minus of this Q bar cross Q bar. We can give the minus sign. So like this. Now here, second characteristic, and it obey distributive law. It obey distributive law of multiplication. It means that here P bar cross Q bar plus R. P bar plus cross Q bar plus R bar is equal to P cross Q plus P cross R. So we can split this bracket in short. So it will be distributive law of multiplication. We can distribute the term in short. Now third characteristic is self cross product is 0. Self cross product means P bar cross P bar is 0. Because we can write like this P bar cross P bar. It is equal to P into sine of 0 degree. Because vector make a 0 degree angle with self. So P square into this 0 to 0. Sine 0 is 0. So here P bar cross P bar is 0. Self cross product is 0. Then next characteristic. The magnitude of the vector product of rectangular unit vectors. Or before that also the fourth one is missing here. Or let's say whether it is there or not. So fourth one. Let I tell you fourth one. So vector product of parallel vector or antiparallel. Vector product of parallel or anti-parallel vector is 0. It is coming 0. So if the two vectors are parallel, then angle is 0. So we can write A bar cross B bar. So we can write AB into sine of parallel means angle 0. So it is coming 0. Anti-parallel, it means that angle is 180 degree. So A bar cross B bar is equal to A into B into sine of 180 degree. It is coming 0. So if the two vectors are parallel or anti-parallel, then the vector product is coming 0. Now next one is magnitudes of the unit, the magnitudes of vector product of rectangular unit vectors. Means ijk. It is coming like this. Pay attention. So when we are talking about I, j, and k, so this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. So I cap in this direction, j cap in this direction, and k cap in this direction. Now, so when the vectors are same, then product is coming 0 by their property number 3. J cross j, they are same, so 0. K cross k. In the previous one, I cap dot I cap is 1, but here I cap cross I cap is 0. Then after that, I cap cross j cap is k cap. Now how it is? So here by right hand rule you can see here I cross j. So I consider that I and j are in the same plane. Then I cross j we get by right hand rule. So you can keep your right hand curl finger I to j, then thumb denote the k cap. It means that this resultant vector is in the upward direction, in the direction of z-axis, and it is k cap, because unit vector multiplied by unit vector is a unit vector. So I cap cross j cap is k cap. Similar manner, j cap cross k cap is I cap. You can see here j to k, it is I cap. Similar manner, k to I, it is j cap. So this is a vector product of their rectangular vector. Similar manner, when I reverse the order, instead of I cap cross j cap cross I cap, then it is coming k. So j cap, so here you can see, let I show it by blue line. So here j to k, then it is finger is coming, this thumb is coming in downward direction, so it is minus k. So minus k. Similar manner, k cross j minus I cap k minus. Or you can remember the same property like this. So you remember the sequence I, j, and k, and again I. If it is in the order of I, j, k, and again I, then it is positive. So see here, I cap cross j cap. You can see here, I cap cross j cap, I cap j cap k cap. Then j cap cross k cap I cap. Then k to I, j cap. But if when the order is reverse, you can see here, j cross j cap cross I cap. You can see. When j to I, then minus k. Then k cap cross j cap in reverse order, minus I. I cap cross k cap means in the reverse order, then minus j. So in that way also you can remember. Then after the fifth property, next one, here it is displayed now about parallel vector or anti-parallel vector. Next one is, you can see here, vector product of two vector can be expressed in terms of determinant of rectangular form. Question may be asked separately for 2 marks. Show that vector product of two vector can be expressed in terms of determinant of their rectangular form. Now to prove. So I can consider p bar cross q bar. Then you know how to simplify this. Px into this qx, I cap, then cross I cap. You can see. Similar manner, px qy, I cap cross j cap. Then px qz, I cap cross k. Then next time, py into this qx. Then here j cross I. You can see j cross. Then p y q y j cross j, p y q z j cross k. Then next time, p z into every term of order bracket. P z qx. Then here it is k cap and here it's I cap. K cap cross I cap. P z q y k cap cross I j k. PZ, QZ, K cap cross K cap. So we split the terms. Then after that, you know that if I cap in a previous one we done I cap cross I cap is 0. So J cap cross J cap is also 0. And K cap cross K cap is 0. Then here I cross J, Ij is, then I cross K is minus J. Then J cross I cross J is K, but J cross I is minus K. Then here J cross K is I. Then K cross I is J. And here K cross J minus I. That we have to substitute in the next step, you can see. So this is 0. Then PXQY K cap. Then PXQZ minus J cap. PYQX minus K cap. Then this is 0. Then PYQZ I cap. PZQX J cap. PZQY minus K cap. And this is coming 0. So after that, you can observe this term very carefully. K cap, K cap. Two terms of K cap. J cap and one more J cap is there. There, J cap. I cap and one more I cap. But one is plus, one is minus. Now let me rearrange this term and I can write this. I cap first term and then minus I cap. Minus J cap, J cap. K cap minus K cap. So we are written like this. Then we can take I cap common from these two. Then we get this. Then from these two we are taken minus J common. As we take minus J common, we get this. And from these two we are taken K cap plus K cap common, we get this term. And this is the expansion of determinant. Determinant of in the first row IJK, in second row PX, PY, PZ, QX, QY, QZ. So you already learned determinant chapter in the mathematics. If you solve this determinant, you will get this step. You can verify it. So this is the property. A question may be asked, show that. So you have to remember this answer. Or when the question is asked, find out cross product of two vectors. We have to solve the determinant of their components like this. Now next characteristic. And it is cross product of two vectors represents area of parallelogram. Now let me prove it. Area of parallelogram we know base into height. So this is parallelogram. So base is Q, height is H. You can see here. This is Q, is the base. Height is H. So Q into H. I written magnitude, not written bar. But height H, you can write it by this angle is theta. From figure, sine theta is H by P. So H you can write P sine theta. So instead of H we can write P sine theta. So area of parallelogram is Q into P sine theta. And you know that QP sine theta is expansion of Q bar cross P bar. And its magnitude, we are not written bar cap here. If I written C cap here, then it is a vector. So we get this. Area of parallelogram is equal to Q bar cross P bar. Hence here, if parallelogram is given and whose adjacent sides are represented by two vectors, then area of parallelogram is magnitude of this cross product. So that you can obtain. So I hope you understood how we get this formula of area of parallelogram. In question, in problem, question may be asked, they give the P bar is 2I cap plus 3J cap plus K cap. And Q bar is 3I cap plus J cap minus K cap. Represent side adjacent sides of parallelogram, then obtain area of parallelogram. And how you solve? Then you have to first find out A bar Q, this P bar cross Q bar. Or Q bar cross. Okay, any this determinant you can solve I, J, K. Then here it is 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, 1. And here 3, 1, minus 1. 3, 1, minus 1. We have to solve this determinant, we get a vector here. Then next step, area of parallelogram is equal to, or you can write like this way, is equal to magnitude of p bar cross q bar, or q bar cross p bar. Magnitude means under root whatever the vector you are getting here, their component square, and then you will get the area of parallelogram. Now next characteristic, seventh one. Few physical quantities can be expressed as a vector product of two vectors. First one is angular momentum. So angular momentum is r bar cross. Question may be asked, they give angular, they ask to find out angular momentum, r bar is given, p bar is given. Then you have to find out this cross multiplication. Similar manner, torque. So what is angular momentum, what is torque, that you have to learn in another chapter. But here you remember the formula of the torque is r bar cross f bar. So if the r bar is given, f bar is given, you can solve the product and you will get your torque. Let's see one problem based on this. You can see this problem. The angular momentum L bar is given, r bar cross p bar. They given the formula. R bar is the position vector, p bar is the linear momentum of body, and they given r bar is this, and this is p bar. Find this L bar angular momentum. So you know that. So we have to find out r bar cross p bar. For that we can solve determinant. So ijk. Then here 4, 6 minus. Then 2, 4 minus 5. You can see here the components. And this determinant we have to solve. You know how to solve determinant. Here, how to solve, see here, I cap we can take, then leave the column, leave the row of I cap, then 6 into minus 5, minus 30, minus sign, then this 4 into 3, 4 3 are 12, minus 12, minus 12 because of this minus, this is plus 12. Then minus j, you can put the minus sign to the j, and then after that, leave the column and leave the row of j. Then this 4 into this minus 5, minus 20, minus sign, 2 into this minus 3, 2 into minus 3, the minus 6, and because of that plus 6 here we get. Then k cap. Then again here same, leave the column and row of k cap, column, row. Then 4 into 4, 16, minus sign, 6 to the 12. So we have to solve this. You can see minus 30 plus 12 I cap, j cap is here minus, sorry, here minus 6, what I written here. So for j cap, na, you can see leave the column, leave the row. So they written plus j cap, and because of that the reverse order we will get here. But okay, it's okay. You can use anyway. So I solved it okay. So I put the minus sign here, and because of that the same sequence I'm taking. So minus 30 plus 12. So you will get minus 18 I cap. Then this minus 20 plus 6. It is coming minus 14, and this minus j cap, so plus 14 j cap. And here 16 minus 12 is 4 k cap. So you will get the same answer here by this method also. Only the thing is here they use plus sign, I use minus sign to this j cap. So whatever the mathematics, your mathematics teacher explain how to solve this determinant, in that way also you can solve, you will get the same answer. So this is angular momentum. And if they ask find out magnitude of the angular momentum, also magnitude of this L is, so magnitude of this L is equal to under root minus 18 square plus 14 square plus 4 square. So you have to solve this, you will get the angular momentum, and the unit is joule second. If is R bar and P bar in SI system. Now we solve one problem here. If A bar is given, by this vector, B bar is by this vector, and find out angle between A and B. So angle between A and B you can find out by two methods. See here. So you know that A bar dot B bar is AB cos theta. So this theta you have to find out. So how you find out theta? So you can write cos theta is equal to you can write A bar dot B bar divided by AB. Then this theta is equal to cos inverse of A bar dot B bar divided by AB. So by this formula you can find out theta. Means here A bar dot B bar, you know how to find out. A means magnitude of this vector A, B means magnitude of this, and after solving this division cos inverse of that we have to find out. Another method is you can use A bar cross B bar is equal to magnitude of this A bar cross B bar is AB sin theta. So by using that you can write sin theta is magnitude of this A bar cross B bar divided by AB. Then theta is equal to sine inverse of this magnitude of A bar cross B bar divided by AB. So by this formula also you can find out angle. But listen here. So to use this formula, the first formula, you have to find out A bar cross B bar, then magnitude of A bar cross B bar, then magnitude of A, magnitude of B, and then you can put in a formula. So here in this formula, second formula, so you have to find out A bar dot B bar. It is very easy. In two line we can get. Then magnitude of A bar, magnitude of B bar. Means A and B you have to find out. So these three we get by very easy steps. So this is very easy formula to solve the angle problems. Now let's see. So A bar dot B bar is, we can find out by this formula, or you know that A bar dot B bar you can find out by direct component multiplication. This 5 multiplied by 2. You can see here 5 multiplied by 2. 6 multiplied by minus 2. Then 4 multiplied by 3. And then magnitude of A means under root the component square of A. 5 square 24. 6 minus 6 square 36. 4 square 16. Magnitude of B 2 square 4 minus 2 square 4, then plus 3 square is 9. Then this is a cos theta. Then we solve this one, we get 0.2764 is cos theta. So we can find out theta is equal to cos inverse of this number. So cos inverse of this we get, and after finding cos inverse of this number we get 73 degree 58. How to find out cos theta? You can see my separate video. In that I explain natural sine, natural cosine, and natural tangent table. You can go through this video. You definitely come to know that how to find out cos inverse of any number. Now next question is, your P bar is given, Q bar is given. Find M. M is here in this Q bar. If P bar and Q bar have same direction. Now see here, P bar and Q bar have same direction, their corresponding component must be same. When the direction is same, you remember Px divided by Qx is equal to Py Qy is equal to Pz Qz. Now here, this Px is 4, Qx is 2. So 4 by 2 is equal to minus 1 by minus m, 8 by 4. Now here, so 4 by 2 and 8 by 4 is coming 2 by 1. So this 1 by m is equal to 2 by 1. So m is equal to 1 by 2. And this is the answer. Now this is a textbook question. The resultant of two forces 10 Newton and 50 Newton acting along plus x and minus x axis respectively. So this is x axis, this is origin, this is the minus side. So plus x axis 10 Newton, minus x axis 15 Newton. Then The resultant force is 15 minus 10, and the direction is the direction of larger vector. So it is 5 Newton. So this is the answer. 5 Newton in minus x-axis side. Next question. For two vectors to be equal, they should have, listen, vector having magnitude and direction. Vector changes when magnitude, either magnitude or direction changes. If two vector to be same, then they must have same magnitude and direction. Same magnitude and direction. So answer C. The magnitude of scalar product of two unit vectors perpendicular to each other. So scalar product of two vectors, if they are mutually perpendicular, then it is coming zero. So let I explain here. This is A bar, this is B bar. If angle is 90 degree, then we can write A bar dot B bar is equal to AB cos, sorry, AB cos 90 degree. Cos 90 is 0, so it is coming A bar dot B bar. So at 0 is the right answer. The magnitude of vector product of two unit vectors making an angle 60 degree with each other. So I'm talking about two unit vectors. This is A cap, this is B cap, and the angle is 60 degree. So vector product we have to find. Vector product of two vectors. So A cap cross B cap is equal to A into B, magnitude of A, magnitude of B, into this sine of 60. Now sine 60 is, sine 60 is root 3 by 2, and magnitude of A and B is 1 into root 3 by 2. So A bar cross B bar magnitude is root 3 by 2, and it is in option D. So option D is the right answer. The next question. If A, B, C are three vectors, then which of the following is not correct? Now here the first one, A bar dot B bar plus C bar. So we learn scalar product of a distributive law of multiplication. So this is correct. We have to identify not correct. So A bar dot B bar and B bar dot A bar. This is also right, because scalar product of a commutative law of multiplication. The third one, A bar cross B bar and B bar cross A bar, they are not same. So this is A bar, this is B bar. If they are lying in the same plane, then A bar cross B bar is in upward direction and B bar cross A bar is in downward direction. So here, this option C is the wrong option, because A bar cross B bar, A bar cross B bar is equal to minus of B bar cross A bar. So in that we can remember. So this is a correct option, which is not correct. In the last option, you know that scalar vector product of a distributive law of multiplication. So A bar cross B bar, and here it is A bar cross C bar. Some printing mistake is there. So here A, B, and D are right. Only here C is wrong. So the answer is option C. We have to identify the wrong one.